Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Greetings and salutations from Vilcabamba, Ecuador, to every single one of you guys. In this video, we're going to have a discussion in regards to astrology, a topic that I don't think I have ever covered on my channel because of how little I know about the subject. But as of late, I have been having a calling to explore the realm of astrology and how it influences life on Earth, how it influences human behavior. I'll give you an example of something that pretty much everybody knows of, which is the effect of the moon on the tides of the ocean. You know, this is a scientific fact, right? Everybody seems to know that the moon affects the tides of the ocean. And it's widely known in hospitals and police departments all around the world that during the full moon evening and the day before and the day after, the highest number of crime is reported, the highest number of drug overdose is reported, because the moon has a profound effect on water on Earth. Life on Earth is made up of water and sunlight. So look at the human body is 70% plus water. So we are being affected by the moon because our bodies are made up of primarily water, much in the same way that the tides of the ocean are being affected by the moon. Now, I'm not going to get into a discussion here about the moon, who put the moon there, how the reptilians placed the moon there deliberately to act as an amplifier for Saturn. You know, this is the Saturn moon matrix that we're experiencing at the moment. I'm not going into that discussion, but the fact of the matter is the moon has an influence on the tides of the ocean. Therefore, the moon has an influence on any living entity that contains water, and virtually everything on Earth contains water. All living organisms contain water and need water. Of course, if you have unlocked the breatharian state, you don't need water anymore. Again, another discussion, not going on tangents here. Let's stay on course with the topic astrology, the influence of the celestial objects on planet Earth and life on planet Earth. So, as you can see, the moon has a vast influence on life on Earth, on planet Earth, on human behavior, on anything that contains water. So, having that knowledge, then it's easy to see how all the stars you see in the sky, all the planets. If you have that app, I downloaded that app, Stellarium, or whatever it's called, you could, use it and look at the sky on a clear night, and you could see Saturn, you could see Jupiter, you could see Venus at the right time of the day, you could see Venus, you could see Mars, right? You could see these things even here with the naked eye. Then you have all the different constellations, which the astrological systems, such as the tropical system, the Western tropical system, the Vedic astrology is based on. It's based on the constellation, the movements of the constellation, and which constellation is the dominant constellation at any given point during the year. So all these constellations and all these planets have an effect on life on Earth and have an effect on the living organisms on Earth. That being said, how influential these celestial objects, how much of an influence these celestial objects have on you depends on you. And I'll explain in a second here. But first of all, let me take a step back here and have a quick discussion about the different astrology systems available. There's so many different astrological systems available. The main ones would be the Western tropical system, right? Where you have 12 constellations, and each of them is an equal 30 degrees in length, so about a month. You know, each one of these different 12 constellation systems in the tropical system is 30 days, 30 degrees. And then you have the Vedic system, which is similar in the sense that it is also 12 constellations, 12 different constellations, each one of them being also 30 days, 30 degrees. And however, there is a difference in the Vedic system and the tropical system, about a difference in one constellation, one zodiac sign. So if you're a Cancer in tropical, most likely you'd be a Gemini in the Vedic system. Now, the question would be then, which zodiac system should you follow? Now, I'm not going to get into that argument here. I'm not going to get into that discussion. I don't know much about it, but I'll tell you one thing. The tropical Western system is flawed. Okay? If you're reading the tropical Western system, if you're looking at your zodiac sign in the tropical Western system, you are looking at somebody who was born 2,000 years ago. Because the tropical Western system does not take into account that these constellations in the sky, which is what these systems are based on, are moving by 1 degree every 72 years. So when you're reading, so whatever your zodiac sign is right now, you're reading that as if you were born 2,000 years ago. So that's one flaw. The other flaw is that these zodiac signs are different in lengths. You have Virgo, which is the longest. The Virgo is not just 30 days. It's like almost 2 months, something like 50 days, right? Whereas you have different constellation systems. I don't remember which ones, that are very short in length, maybe up 3 weeks, 2 weeks even. So the system is highly inaccurate, first of all. Okay, it's highly inaccurate. Now, a lot of people out there will look up their zodiac sign, as inaccurate as it may be, and it is inaccurate, folks. Look into the tropical system. Look into the constellations moving 1 degree every 72 years. Look into how each constellation actually has a different length in sky. They're not all equal. They're not all there for just a month. Some are there for longer. Some are there for shorter. So it's already flawed to begin with. It's already inaccurate. But people look up their star system, their zodiac sign, right? And they say, well, I'm a Virgo, or I'm a Leo, or I'm a Gemini, or I'm a Cancer, or I'm a Scorpio, right? And they look up the descriptions, and then they'll be like, oh yeah, that's why I'm like this, right? Oh, I am a Cancer. That's why I love I love a good home, and that's why I'm sensitive, and that's why I'm empathic. I'm very empathic. And that's why I'm very lovey-dovey, because I'm a Cancer, right? I'm a Cancer. Somebody else will look up, they'll be a Leo, right? And then they'll be like, oh, they'll read the description of the Leo, right, from a website or from somebody on YouTube, and oh, well, that's why I have this fire energy, right? That's why I like attention, right? That's why I'm so passionate, because I'm a Leo. Right? So that's a tendency out there for people to identify with their zodiac sign and the traits of their zodiac sign, despite it being very inaccurate. The tropical Western system is highly inaccurate, folks. Highly inaccurate. And the Vedic system is more accurate, but even that is inaccurate. Okay? For more reasons that I will not go on, I already gave you the basic reasons of why the tropical Western system is inaccurate. But people will look up their zodiac sign, they'll be told what they are, what their sign is, and who they should be, and then they'll identify with it as who they are. So, the issue here is that human beings like to feel a sense of belonging, and you could see this in the behavior of teenagers, but it continues into adulthood. Teenagers will begin to identify with a musical band. They'll begin to identify with a sport team, right? I remember I started to identify with sport teams as I got into adolescence. I'm a fan of this sport team. I'm a fan of Barcelona, right? I'm a fan of Real Madrid. I'm a fan of Manchester United. You'll see this behavior start to happen in adolescence. Human beings are looking to belong. They want to belong. They want to be part of a group, because human beings are social creatures. And you look at babies and little children, they start off as individuals with uniqueness and authentic self-expression. Then they get more and more socialized, more and more brainwashed into conformity. And that process of socialization gets human beings to want to belong to a social group out of a sense of security. Like, it gives you a sense of security when you belong. Like, hey, I'm a fan of Barcelona, and you see somebody else wearing a Barcelona shirt, and you say, hey, we're brothers, right? Why? Because you want to feel like you belong to a tribe. It's the dark side of tribalism here, you see? And that can be blinding. So in the same way, people look up their zodiac sign, and then they want to belong to a team here. I'm Team Leo. I'm Team Gemini. I'm Team Scorpio. I'm Team Cancer. Cancer united, right? Scorpio's united. Virgo united. That's why I did what I did, because I'm a Virgo. Right? That's why I'm so independent, because I'm an Aries. So somebody hears what their description is, their zodiac sign, and says, yeah, I resonate with that. And that's called confirmation bias. You really want to belong somewhere, because you're always looking out for belonging here and there. And so you say, well, I think that's how I am too. It's funny, because I read a comment on YouTube of somebody that was following the tropical system and said, 2 years ago, I used to be I can't remember what zodiac sign. And now, and I resonated with that. And now I discovered the Vedic astrological system. And now I'm because your zodiac sign differs in the Vedic system. And now I resonate with this one. So now I am this one. You see? And then that was funny to me, because that was somebody who's clearly just looking for different identification, changing teams, if you will. Like somebody who's a fan of a sport team today, and then a year from now, they're a fan of a different sport team, because they now want to belong to a different tribe. That tribe resonates with them more. Okay? So, what am I trying to get at here? I'm just rambling, right? So, let me recap everything. First of all, I started off the video by saying that these things have an influence. The very fact that the moon has an influence on the tides of the ocean tells you these celestial objects have an influence on humans. Then I went on to say that the tropical Western system, which the vast majority of people in the Western world follow, is highly inaccurate, because the constellations move 1 degree every 72 years, and because each constellation is actually there for a different length of period. Some constellations are there longer than a month, some constellations are there shorter than a month. Okay? Now does that mean that the zodiac sign, and then we went on to say that, people have a tendency to want to identify with their zodiac sign, whatever they're told by somebody else, that that's your zodiac sign and that's how you are, right? So what is one to do here? If the system is inaccurate, don't you still want to know how the celestial objects are affecting you, how they're influencing you? So how do you go on about this? Well, first of all, there are more accurate ways of looking at the zodiac signs here, all right? So the Vedic system is more accurate simply because they account for that 1 degree movement in the constellations every 72 years, but still the inaccuracy is due to the Vedic system still says each constellation is in the skies for 30 days, which is also not true. So there are other systems which actually give you the actual length of each constellation, and account for the 1 degree movement every 72 years. So look into true sidereal. I know I'm not pronouncing it correctly. True sidereal astrology. Look into it. Go on Google, go on YouTube, and look into it. However, I want to go beyond all of this. All right, and I'm going to make a statement here. I've been rambling for 15 minutes, and you could have easily just not listened to these 15 minutes and come to this video and listen to this. The more control, mastery you have over your inner world, the less the outer world has an influence on you. The astrology, the moon, the stars, the planets are all the external world. The more mastery you have over the internal world, the less the external world has an effect on you. And I'm going to give you a few examples here to demonstrate this statement. Jesus walks on water. What the hell is going on there? What is Jesus up to here? How is he walking on water? Is he not subject to the laws of gravity? Is he not subject to the laws of the laws of density, the different densities? If you're a dense, then you it's things that are lighter float, things that are heavier sink. Shouldn't he be sinking? How is he not subject to the law of gravity? How is he not sinking? That's because Jesus went to India and got some training by some highly mastered yogis in the Himalayas, and then came back with this new level of mastery. Thus, the external world no longer has an effect on Jesus because he's mastered his internal world. And if you master your internal world, the external world, if you fully master your internal world, the external world has zero effects on you. You could be in the middle of a crowd and everybody's shouting at you, screaming at negative. Theoretically, I'm talking theoretically here, folks. Somebody who's mastered their inner world could be in the middle of a concentration camp being fulfilled by the bliss of the universe, right? If you've placed Jesus after his mastery, after his training in India, put him in the middle of a concentration camp, Jesus would be high as a kite. Wouldn't be affected whatsoever. I'm talking theoretically here, folks, but I'm just demonstrating to you here. A peaceful person who's mastered their emotions, mastered their reactions, will not be influenced by somebody outside of them that is exerting some form of negativity on them. You see, the more of a mastery you have over your internal world, the less the external world has an influence on you. And that applies to the moon, that applies to the stars, that applies to the planets. Alright? You are not your zodiac sign, folks. It's fun stuff to play around with. Okay? It really is. I'm with you there. I like to play around with it. I like to go look it up. I like to look up my zodiac sign. I like to look up my brother's zodiac sign. And I like to play around with these things, okay? I do this with Miranda. We just go playing around, look up the zodiac sign of her mom, my mom. We like to do that kind of stuff, it's fun. But it is not you. Ultimately, it is not you. Now, the less mastery you have over your internal world, the more of an influence these celestial objects have. So if you take a person who is, like a 3D person plugged into the matrix, their zodiac sign has a huge influence on them. But not necessarily their tropical sign, because that's inaccurate. Okay? However, if they believe it, if that person believes that they are their zodiac sign, they become their zodiac sign. And so it's funny because mind creates matter. So in a way, the tropical system is real because when people believe in it, they give it power, kind of like the money system. The money system is a complete illusion. The government can just print whatever. It's not backed by anything, not even gold, right? But people believe in it, they give it power, therefore it's real until people take away its power. So in a way, the tropical system is real because people believe in it, they give it power, and they become their zodiac sign in a way. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Right? So I would say the less awakened the person is, the less of a mastery they have over their internal world, the more influenced they are by their zodiac sign, by the constellations, by the stars and the moon and everything. Right? And that's why, because the vast majority of humanity is asleep, completely ruled by the external, completely brainwashed. This is why on the full moon night, You have the highest number of homicides, the highest number of drug overdoses, right? The word lunatic, lunatic, that it comes from the fact that people are more out of control in the full moon night, because they are being influenced by the moon, because they have little to no mastery over their internal world. So the external has all the influence on them. Okay, so it is true then. And so these zodiac systems, all of them are real. The people in India believe in the Vedic system, so to them that's what's real, and it gains power over them in that way. Okay, but in truth, you are not these things. The more you master your internal world, the less of an influence these external things have on you. You see? And that's the truth, folks. That's the truth. So you could spend all your time identifying with different zodiac signs, right? I was a Cancer in the tropical, then I figured out in the Vedic I was a Gemini, then I looked into the true sidereal system, and it turns out I was still a Gemini. And it was fun for me to see all these different identifications and how I was shifting into them. You see, I was like, yeah, maybe I'm a little bit of Cancer, and maybe I'm a little bit of Gemini, right? I was just having fun with it, because I know I'm not not any of it, right? I am. That's it. I am loving awareness. That's as close to truth as you want to get. And of course, you're a multidimensional being. You have different layers. So you have the human side of you, then the soul, different planes of consciousness, then you're God. You're everything and nothing. You're emptiness that is full of everything. You are. I am. That's it. The Tao just is. And the more you master the inner, the less the external has an influence on you. So Jesus walks on water. Why does he walk on water? Because he's mastered his inner world. So the laws of physics and all these things, and the dense things sink into the water, and the lighter things float. Well, I guess he became so light that he could float on water, right? Because he mastered his inner world. Right? When you master inner worlds, you unlock all these cities, as the yogis would say, the cities, the powers. Right? You're able to teleport. You're able to shape shift. You're able to become a mountain. You're able to become a feather. You're able to do anything at that point. You become the creator, not the created. As long as you're in the realm of the created, then yeah, you are being influenced by the constellations, by the stars, by everything, by your family, by the arguments between your mom and your dad, by the negative things that happen around you. Yeah, you're being totally at the whim, at the mercy of these things, because you haven't mastered the inner worlds. You see? So my suggestion is that you continue to work on your inner worlds, continue to self-realize, whatever that means to you. Continue to remove the obstructions. As Yoda would say, you must unlearn what you have learned. Continue to unlearn what you have learned. The tropical system is total nonsense, by the way. If you want to get the true stuff, you got to dig deeper, all right? Because it's total nonsense. Because it's inaccurate. It's completely inaccurate. So even if you do actually want to know what stars are having the most influence on you, what planets, how are they influencing you, you actually got to dig deeper into the astrology rabbit hole. But go beyond that even. Do not identify with the finite. Stay rooted in the infinite, because you're an infinite being. Alright? Stay rooted in the infinite. And then look at these things as merely things to play around with. You see, because you are playing a human. You're not a human. You're simply playing a human. You are a human right now. But who is the animator of the human? The animated is the human, right? The animator is the true self. And the more you self-realize, the more you master the inner worlds, the less the external world has an influence on you. So just keep that in mind as you continue to play around with astrology. It's not that I'm going to stop playing around with astrology. I like to do it for fun. I just know who I am. I remember who I am. And I continue to self-realize day by day. Because the infinite cannot be boxed into an identity, you see? So every time you identify with the zodiac sign, say, I am Cancer, I am a Virgo, I am an Aries. Automatically you shrink. Automatically you constrict yourself of the highest identity, which is the formless, the shapeless, the infinite. Thank you to the Patreons for your continued support, and thank you to the people who support on PayPal. Thank you for all of you guys who send me these one-time donations on PayPal. I have links in the description if you want to support this channel financially. I love every single one of you guys, and I will see you in the next video.